Hey moms, it's me, Queenie, and you are about to enjoy the Empowering Girl Mom Show. We're about to get started, so please make sure you like, subscribe, and share this with your friends so that more moms know that we are here as a resource to support all of us in up-leveling motherhood. I look forward to joining you in just a minute. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hey moms, it's me, Queenie, and you are about to enjoy the Empowering Girl Mom Show. Hello, and thank you so much for joining us for the Empowering Girl Mom Show. I'm your host, Queenie Brown, certified master life and business coach, women's empowerment author, and a mentor to moms. And today we are going to go deep and it's going to be yummy. I am super excited to introduce our speaker for the day. And let me go and just introduce you by reading her full bio. Million-dollar mentor, priestess of packaging, and women's wealth advocate, Ingrid Arna is the founder and CEO of the Ingrid Arna Company, creator of the Forbes featured Currency of Connection, and the woman behind the Gucci of online business programs, Million Dollar Messenger, Six Figure Diva, and Millionaire's Matrix. Ingrid's on a mission to reinvent online education to ensure women leave the grind behind and wake up to claim their sacred power to lead, to serve, and to build a legacy of divine wealth and global impact. I'm so excited. She sold over
Absolutely.
12 million in online courses. 12 million. Can we say that again? And
12 million.
programs and has helped over 20,000 students thrive online by leveraging her product creation methodology, including myself. She's been featured on Vogue, Cosmopolitan, Forbes, Steve Harvey, Good Health, InStyle, HuffPost, Entrepreneur, and many, many more. I would love to just give a warm welcome to the incomparable Ingrid Arna, my friend. Welcome.
Thank you, darling. You're so gorgeous. Thank you, Queenie. You're an amazing woman. So I'm so happy to be here and with your community today to have this deep conversation. As you were talking about the 12 million in the dollars, like, for me, I'm like thinking I really want to serve 12 million women.
Yes.
Like that would be, I think, up the next level. And I think the mission that I have is just I'm so deeply passionate about ensuring that women have personal and financial sovereignty so that we truly have safety and freedom. The level of violence against women in
Yeah.
Australia, it's like literally the last, say, even just 6 months has gone up 30%. Something very
Oh
strange
my
is happening.
goodness.
I call it rage to riches. So like you're really
Mm.
using my absolute disdain for the abuse against women, where we should be revered as goddesses, as
Yes.
bringers of life. So that's really where my passion comes from. It's really around growing up, and I will let you ask the questions, but I just wanted to give people a little bit of quick background in terms of, I grew up with an immigrant family. I came from, I'm a first generation Australian. My dad came to Australia from World War II, from Russia. My mother's from Macedonia, from former Yugoslavia, and came as a refugee after there was a big earthquake in Yugoslavia. So I grew up with very hardworking immigrant parents, very beautiful parents, but also quite traumatized parents.
Mm-hmm.
So I picked up really good things about entrepreneurship and getting it done, and also some very heavy, harmful habits and beliefs and emotions. So for me, I really wanted to create my own security because I really didn't feel secure and safe within my own family
Mm-hmm.
background. The entrepreneurship was really important and helpful to me in my future, but there were some really deep traumatic events that happened in my life that made me very determined to become my own mother, my own father. I had nobody, basically. It was a very dysfunctional family. So that's why I'm so empowered to help other women, because I know deeply I went through massive suffering, massive. I had a life-death experience in my early 20s. That really came from my trauma. So the reason why I'm so passionate, it's just all about making money. It's about creating security for ourselves, our children, our daughters, and then for generations to come, by shifting up that karmic patterning to really create abundance so that women and our children can be safe and supported and nurtured and not dependent.
I love that. I love that. And it's interesting. I never really understood the gravity of how important it is for us as individuals to be able
Mm.
to create that safety and security until I ended up being a single mom. And now it's been 3 years and I'm in a position now where I have no choice. I've got to make the boat float however it needs to float. And we as women don't realize how much power and wisdom and strength and resources we have on the inside of us to create the life that we want. And so I'm really excited about what it is you're doing in the world, because you're actually empowering women to learn how to package themselves and present themselves to the world in a way that's bringing back value, massive value, for the wisdom they offer. So can you share a little bit about how you started all of this?
Well, I was in corporate advertising for many years in the United States, actually. And I came home and I met I'm also in the process of getting divorced. So I do really resonate with you. And I actually was speaking to a potential new client yesterday, and she had 40 plus years of experience from homeopathic medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, 40 years of yoga. Like, her list of experience was just massive. And this is a woman in her 60s who was married to a very rich man. She got a payout during divorce, but then is basically living on very little money, and is charging like $150 or less per hour sessions, probably getting paid $50 an hour for a yoga session. And if she's not careful and she doesn't shift that for herself, and her man, when she went through divorce, like, hid money. So even if you have a rich husband, you want to make your own money. You don't know what's going to happen, whether they lose money. And then if you go to divorce, there's sometimes these rich men, they are the ones that can be generous and nice, and you get big payouts. So they're super, super rich, then you're going to get big payout, right? You married a billionaire, great, you're going to get a good payout. If you married as an average man, you're probably not going to get that much. And then that money runs out. So it was really interesting. She did say one thing, and I will go back into how I really got started. But really, at the end of the day, someone like that is I sort of have a little chuckle on the inside to myself, because she said a statement like, I don't know if I've got enough to offer.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, girlfriend. Her name was Kim. Kim, look at it. I've written literally at 10 bullet points of all that knowledge that you have. So I talk about turning your genius into gold, but often women will disown their own brilliance. And your brilliance is what is bankable, but we will disown it because we are conditioned to disown it usually, typically. Socially, still today, it's like, hostile to women. We are not really taught how to truly take ownership over our work, our knowledge, our value, our bodies. So I just want to say to women listening, if you're in that position, please don't feel bad. You've probably been indoctrinated to in some way, because it's, if you own yourself, if you take up space, it's usually like that too much woman syndrome, where it's just, it's too much, it's too loud, it's too big, it's too bold. I decided, after when I first came home from the United States, and I started to, really want to figure out what I was going to do with my career, working in corporate, didn't want to work in corporate anymore, came home, married a man that had a 6-figure job, but we were going into the red every month. It wasn't a big corporate job. He had a decent job as an engineer. And we were just like spending more than we weren't even spending big. We didn't have a big house, a big mortgage, but we were going into like the negative. And I thought, oh my God, like, I used to work in corporate advertising. I used to sell and pitch TV program in the United States. I used to be a journalist. I've done all these things. Surely I can package up something in order to sell to women. I don't want this to be my reality. And I knew that he kind of didn't have it within himself. Like, he was not a natural entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So I am very spiritual. I do the healing work as well, as you know. So I thought, how do I create something that's going to be so juicy that takes all of my skill and my passion? So I will always usually say to a woman, don't do what you think can make you money. Do what you're deeply passionate with, because that will be in congruence, in alignment with what you're here to teach. Because any business, let's get real, there is a lot of work in terms of making sure that it runs smoothly. And if it's not in alignment with your true passion, so you always want to look at, I talk about from your suffering to salvation. So usually if you've had a struggle with something, so my thing was building and holding on to money, I always make money, lose money, raise capital in America, had a clothing line, lost that company due to fraud. There was a pattern of sort of, well, how would I describe it? Sort of like a roller coaster ride of abundance and then lack, abundance and lack, riches and loss, riches and loss. So I had to really look at that and look at, well, what was the fundamental cause of that? What was the belief system around that? And then decide that I was going to absolutely radically change that, and then in turn pass it on and pay it forward. So if you look at your suffering, you can turn that into your salvation. And usually what we most need to learn ourselves is something that we need to teach and pass on. So I sat down one night and I thought, okay, I used to write massive proposals. I'm a good writer. I used to be a journalist as well. Let me sit down and come up with two incredible offers. So I wrote one called Body Love, which was all on, helping women release their body image issues, which I had a chronic body image like anorexia and bulimia when I was very young. I wrote a lot about it. I studied it deeply, mind body medicine, eating psychology. And I thought, okay, that's an area that I'm really passionate about. And I really identified that body image issues was a soul emotional crisis. It's not really a body crisis, it's a soul emotional crisis. So I created a whole curriculum around that. And then I had another offer called CEO Diva. So CEO Diva was more a business packaging, pricing, positioning, sort of the work that I do now. And I was deeply passionate about both. I sat down and I wrote those offers literally in a day, both of those offers. And then a lovely man called Mark David, who runs a school called The Psychology of Eating, he wrote a book called The Slow Down Diet and Nourishing Wisdom. He's based in the United States. He was a friend, a mentor of mine, and he referred me to a beautiful woman. And she came to me, and her parents had both died. She had an eating disorder and a lot of digestive issues. Even though she'd worked with him, she wasn't getting the healing that she needed. So she needed one-on-one work. And I happened to have an offer, and that offer was Body Love. So she bought it. It was a $6,000 offer. So immediately I went from, which was a huge number for me at the time, I went from $100 sessions or $500 packages, overworking, overgiving, barely having any money to show for anything. I wanted people to know how much I cared. So I'd give and give and give and give, and I would be broke, right? So I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, what am I doing? And I was literally, like, it was so harmful. I was exhausted. I remember giving birth to my daughter, that was over 11 years ago now, being in the hospital, and I was still on the phone to like clients, and I'd already delivered everything. Like this over generosity, over giving, underselling and under earning. Okay.
I'm in that
So
boat
that's,
right now with
yeah,
everything you said. I'm living in that space. So
yes, it's that so we want people to know, like, you've got such a beautiful energy, Queenie. So yours is one of love. You want to love, you want to give. The next thing is to learn, which is the majority of women, including myself, have been through it, is to receive. So how do you be all of that? The light worker, the giver, the woman of love, and how the feminine, and then allow yourself to bring in that bit of that masculine energy to receive divine compensation for your work, which you should. And your cup should runneth over, right? Because I always say this to my students all the time. If you're a light worker, you're a leader, you're a giver, you're a mentor, you need to be coming from a full place. So for example, if my frequency is to be of the highest realm, I need to go to acupuncture. I need to work out my body. I need to have the level of care for Ingrid so I can serve others at the level I want to serve. So you need to have sustenance. It's not give, get nothing back. It's give and receive. So if you look at an infinity circle, if you look at infinity, it's never ending. It's give and receive, give and receive. So usually there is an energetic mindset block around receiving, which I had as well. And I had adrenal issues, hormonal issues, chronic health issues. We talked about before we got on this call about being bedridden, chronically exhausted, pushing ourselves to extremes in order to give. Well, what if we could give and create massive impact, deeply help people, and be wealthy, mind, body, soul, and financially? Because really, I was sick all the time. I was exhausted all the time.
Yes.
Right. And I was just like in a cycle of this for years and years and years, if not over decades, until I decided, hey, look, I'm going to be a broke woman and potentially a very sick woman if I don't change this for myself and my daughter. My daughter really was that catalyst for change. I had to feed this little baby, and I started like literally just selling offers. It was sort of the beginning of Facebook. I was on Facebook. I started just doing content and videos, and people go, "Oh, Ingrid, you speak so much. It's all easy for you." I used to have chronic. I grew up with a very abusive father, so I used to have chronic anxiety. I hated speaking. When I did my very first webinar, when I launched this business, I twisted my ankle badly, and I was so afraid of people thinking that I was a money hungry cow that on my very first webinar, I didn't even pitch, because I was so concerned. Now I teach sales and positioning and all that sort of stuff, and I've gotten over it, but I was petrified because I wanted people to like me. Someone just recently got upset with me because I offered them an upsell, but I thought they'd completed my course. And I said, please don't shame me for an upsell. I thought you completed the course. And I was offering you some private time with me at a fraction of what it's worth. That is like, I was just trying to help you actually. Like it's to do with a projection of her own self. I'm like, I have no qualms around that. Like it was something so great. I would have actually probably given her a tenfold financial gain from having that time. I've been doing this now for 10 years. I know my stuff. I'm, we know our stuff. We know how to bring in value. So I just won't take it. And I send her love, like I just won't take it on. It's really their projection of how they are within themselves. So going back to what I did was I created those offers, and this beautiful girl came along and she loved Body Love. It was $6,000. And when I got paid $6,000, and she didn't ask for a payment plan, she paid me in full.
Wow.
And I was so happy. It was a 6-month offer. It was a beautiful offer. And she then bought other offers. It just wasn't 6,000. She ended up investing in other offers and then went into the business work. Now she became a dear friend of mine. And it was just the most profound experience for her, but also for me. It ignited this new level of abundance, and then a feeling of, wow, I got to contribute to this woman's life in such a deep way. She released that eating disorder. She got over the grief of losing and the trauma of losing both of her parents. She got sort of had PTSD from that, and was able to, and then build a successful business. So it just profoundly changed me though. Like it was like the light went off, and I was able to then, I call it like a new new emotional homeostasis, but a new money threshold. So it's like, oh, I've now set, like, so sometimes when I'll be working with clients, if it's $2,000 seems like a big amount, just start there. You can always raise your prices at any point, right? So you start at say $2,000. If that's a stretch, just go there. But you don't want to get to the point where it's such a stretch that it creates a fight flight response. So you might start at a $2,000 offer. A great offer for you might be $5,000. I'm working with a new corporate client at the moment. Her offer might be $25,000 going up to $50,000. She, for example, is a woman, so don't ever feel guilty, because this woman, for example, grew up with a lot of wealth, a Jewish woman in Australia, severe, like real great wealth, but then tremendous losses where her father was even in the newspapers where he was fraudulent. So lots of shame around what he did. It was like something like out of a movie. And then sort of almost has sort of punished herself for her father's sins, and works corporate, has a pretty decent job, but highly intelligent on the boards and everything, but then does all this free coaching for all these people who are making bucket loads, who could easily afford to pay her $25,000 or $50,000. And she's helping them do billion-dollar deals and gazillion-dollar deals, and she's doing it for free. I'm like, what are you doing, girlfriend?
Yeah.
So, and then since my divorce, just to let you know, like I built a multi-million-dollar business, but when I've been going through all of this, and my husband was really sick and unwell last year, and a lot has changed for me, but I was just wrote a post on my community just to show you the power of this. Like last week, I sold $25,000 worth of product, right? Cash in the door, paid in full. I didn't even try, but that for me is minuscule to what I used to earn over $150,000 a week when I had my business. But I had a lot of staff. It was just became full on and exhausting, and another kind of like noose around my neck. So that's also another interesting thing to talk about. Like, what type of business do you want? Do you want a, 250K? Do you want a 500? Do you want a 1 million? Around a 1 million to 1.52 million, depending on the way it's structured, can be quite abundant and flowing. When you start to get a lot of staff and overheads, you can blow it out. So that's something that you want to look at as well. Like, what type of business do you want? But anyway, I sold that offer. So digress. I sold that offer, and I just kept going. I think I sold about another 60K just through private offers. And then I launched my very first mastermind. So that CEO Diva offer that I mentioned, because I said I created a body love offer, for body issues and self-love. And then the CEO Diva around business and packaging. And then CEO Diva became CEO Diva Business School, which was my very first mastermind that I launched about 8 years ago. And I was then petrified that was the next level to go from one-on-one work where I was behind, in closed doors with a private client, and I could be as out there, Ingrid, as I wanted to be. I could be woo-woo and spiritual and channel in stuff and be all out there. It was private and no one else could see me except one person. So when it came to the group work and teaching in a group, of course, I was like, oh my God, this is the next level. And how can I really make the difference for a group of women? And it was just another level of exposure and vulnerability. And I did it anyway. And I went through it and moved through that fear and, kept going. And I think I launched my very first funnel. And, I had a free lead magnet. If you don't know what that is, basically a funnel, if you don't know, listen to you that is listening, it's a way to offer something for free, take people on a beautiful journey, give before you get. I call it about giving and being generous. And then once you set that rapport and trust, so I created an 8-part video series called Sacred Money Miracle.
I loved
it. And people loved it. And I wasn't that great at sales and I was kind of a bit insecure around asking for the sale, but I booked 60 calls with potential clients and 40 people didn't buy from me and 20 people bought from me. And I just kept focusing on how do I serve? Every time I got a no, I just tried to have the most juicy conversation and then kept going. I wouldn't allow it to derail me. I just kept staying true to my message, true to this beautiful mastermind experience that I wanted to launch. I think at the time it had 3 different tiers in 3 different categories, and 20 people said yes, and I was up and running. And some days I wanted to hurl my guts up because I was so scared of being in a group, but I did it.
Right.
And I think once you do it, a lot of your fears, as you all know, your fears start to dissipate. So I would just pray to God and be like, God, please be with me and help me to find the right words and give me the courage.
Yes.
I don't know if you all know, but listening, I don't mean to speak down to anybody, but I didn't know this myself, but the word courage comes from the word heart. To really come from the heart, I call it, right from the start, and to speak truth and to give as much as I possibly could and to trust that that was enough. And it's so normal when I'm working with women. They often will feel like the smartest women with degrees, women who are just self-taught. It doesn't matter. I think as long as you have care in your work and you really honor your word, you will always offer great value. Always. And if you ever get any feedback that's not, you can always course correct it as long as you take responsibility. But truly, it's about turning your genius into gold, your brilliance into something, a bankable product. And you can create a product, like an offer, like a private coaching offer, literally in less than 24 hours. You can do it in 2 hours. It doesn't have to be complex. With ChatGPT these days, you can put in an idea or concept and whip something out. But honestly, it's really about that sense of ownership. So you've got your packaging, your pricing, your positioning. How do you stand out in the market? What is your point of difference? So really owning that and crafting that. Once you get that down and learn how to do this, it's such an empowering place to be. So for example, if I choose that I want to make money and I want to bring in a new client, I now know exactly how to do that and no one can take that from you. So one of the ways that they say that, you've probably heard the saying before, Queenie, about riches. The fastest path to riches, obviously you want to embody the right frequency. So you got to get your beliefs on point, but it is to skill up. It's a skill. This is all, anybody from any demographic, any race can learn how to do this. And it's just making a conscious choice. Hey, I want to live in a new way. I want to contribute in a new way. I've had enough of this level. I made a pact and a vow, and I would really make an invitation to every woman to do this as a ritual, which is to make a sacred vow. And that is, make a choice. How much money do you want to earn? How committed are you? Because I said to God, dear God, creator of all that is, I am committed to serving women deeply, creating wealth for myself and my family, and passing and paying that on and paying it forward. You can choose that same invocation, that same, because we need so many women, and wealth. It's not just about business and money. It's about our relationships, our sensuality, our sexuality, our health, our radiance, a full gamut of what is wealth. women want connection. Women want to feel nurtured. We want the right partnerships. You and I choosing both toxic relationships and getting out of them.
Yeah.
Teaching my daughter, we were mentioning before about, well, I'm not just teaching her to earn her own money. I'm also starting to begin to bring in a new thing, because I became more like the financial breadwinner in my family. And I think you and I are similar, Queenie, where you were saying before about having a relationship that you really felt that you became more like the slave to the
I was
whole.
right. Well, truthfully, I felt pimped
Yeah. Yeah. I've
for
had a few women say,
years. Yeah,
yeah.
for
And
years.
I
So
did
for
too. I
20,
would be like, you're a vulture, get off me. Like I'd be saying, get
right,
off. Yeah. Yeah.
right.
The more that I worked and the harder, and not to say like, ex-husband had some really great qualities, but
Hmm.
the bigger the business became, the less he became, and the more I had to work. And I didn't even kind of realize what I was doing until it was too kind of late, where I became just so overwhelmed and exhausted. And then I had like this leech on me.
Hmm.
So I'm teaching my daughter now, we're saying about with relationship and a few different things, one with money, and one with how does she navigate her own personal relationships with girlfriends and friendships, but
Hmm.
also around her choosing. And I wasn't too sure what her sexuality is, but it looks like she's definitely heterosexual. And I was just saying to her, with a man, Aria, you want a man that has his own mental, spiritual, financial strength, so that when
Yes.
you two come together, you are really there. Like I call it like a buoyant energy. You
Hmm.
are there to lift each other up. It's not
Yeah.
one person dragging,
Yes.
carrying the load. And that's what I did. And I think through
Yes.
my journey, especially having an abusive father, one of the beliefs that I must have taken on, because I couldn't get away from him when he used to hit me and yell at me and scream at me. I was a little girl, is to learn I have to stay in an abusive relationship. And the way that I deal with abuse is I'm over giving and over generous to make people like me and to create,
Oh,
you get it? Like how many women, how to create safety and security. So let me be the good girl. Let me make everything beautiful for everybody else,
mm-hmm.
usually at the expense of ourselves. And I
Absolutely.
think in some ways we're taught to pimp ourselves out, like because we're settling. The standards for ourselves are so
Yeah.
low,
Mm.
and we don't even realize we're doing it until
Right.
you can know that if you're feeling exhausted, if you're feeling frustrated, angry, sad, depressed, anxious, chances are your standards are too low. You're in an overgiving pattern. So even if you're so indoctrinated to be like that. If your money isn't there that where you want it to be, if you're exhausted, if you've got digestive issues, maybe some adrenal issues, 80 to 90% of Americans, by the way, suffer from some form of burnout.
Oh, yeah. And we think that's womanhood. We
No,
think that's just
it's
woman.
called sufferinghood. It's
Right.
called,
Right.
martyrdom. And really, at the end of the day, when you're a child and you can't leave, you are subject to the situation.
Hmm.
As a woman, if we don't want, I call it going from victim to vixen. If you don't want to victimize, like if I stay in my marriage, and go, oh, you're 60 years of age now, say, and you've been in there for another 10 to 12 years, and then I'm there like miserable and sick and whatever. Well, sure, people could maybe feel sorry for me, but
Hmm.
really I stayed. I mean, you had so much
Right.
courage, Brittany. Like it takes a
Right.
lot with two kids to leave
Yeah.
a relationship. Divorce, I could not even, I'm in it right now. It is one of the most heavy, especially when you want to be amicable and they're all like
Hmm.
making it difficult and hard.
Yes.
Um, but at the end of the day, when I was praying about it and feeling into it, it was like abort, abort, abort. And
Mhm.
this will set you free. Like you were talking about, you said, Queenie, that you were feeling like freedom,
Yes.
but
Oh my
it
God.
takes
Liberation, complete liberation.
liberation. Oh,
Yes.
baby, bring it on,
Mhm.
right? So
Absolutely.
even though it's heavy and some days I want to scream my head off and I
Oh,
walk
yeah.
around and say the C word about him all day long, and I'm
Right.
like, and I'm like, I need to punch something.
Right.
I know that it is the path. I
Yes.
know that it's the path. And I want to say one thing, like, when I'm talking about all these different things, it can seem a bit overwhelming, but really there is a process.
Hmm.
And when you mentor with someone, whether it's like a Queenie or me or someone like that, if they're good at what they do and they know how to teach it, excuse me, it can be really simplified.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be complex. And I think usually, typically when I meet a lot of women and I, be that person, there's a lot of scattered energy. So it's like, we're not grounded. It's like, ooh, and it's like overwhelming because you feel like there's so many things. And at the beginning, I just started with one core offer. Who am I serving? What's the process? Whenever you're creating an offer, it goes from problem to solution. It doesn't matter what niche you're in. You're going, okay, say for an eating disorder. So from body hate to body love. What are the key fundamental steps a client of mine or someone that you're serving needs to take to go from hating their body, having chronic like, binge eating or bulimia or a mixture of both self-hating on themselves, really being in a state of absolute despair and anguish, to being really empowered, self-loving, feeling juicy in their body, no matter what shape or size the body is, really owning their femininity, really embracing themselves, their sexuality, their sensuality. Another big part of this whole thing with body image and is even the yoni, the female genitalia. We are not often even respected around that. So how can you really fully love and honor the feminine in your body if you're not really like having great pussy love, right? Like pussy, I call it pussy pride. We're going to go a bit provocative. Pussy, I say that. So I say to men, I've got great pussy pride. So you better honor the pussy. I'm just letting you know. You should see how I treat these men. I'm like, this is the standard.
Okay.
Yeah, and because my husband never did anything and never arranged any dates or whatever, if they don't show their leadership and their divine masculine power and their care for me, so that's what the other point I was going to make around teaching my daughter. I'm now like, if you just don't walk away from a relationship because it's a bit of a challenge. You have to work at it. If your partner is not willing to participate and go there with you, you have the ability to leave.
Yes.
Now, when I'm dating or I don't like something, I have the ability to leave. I can say to a man, actually, look, even if I'm physically with them, I had a man, this happened recently, and I was just like, you're lovely. I don't feel great. Do you mind leaving? This is nothing personal. I just need my space. Do you mind leaving? Because I was just not feeling it.
Oh,
I was just,
but you know what? You know.
Yeah, I don't have to sit here and every touch that he put on my body, like trying to hug me, I was just like, and so I was like, Ingrid, you're a full-grown woman. Like I'm thinking, like I'm literally lying there, he's there. And in my head, I've like got this other Ingrid going, Ingrid, get him gone. You don't want him here. So speak up, own your voice and tell him bye-bye. So I just was like, hey, lovely, look, I'm just, it was true. I feel a bit off. I really just want my own alone time. Thank you so much for coming to visit me. I now need for you.
Oh, I'm so proud of you though. That's so good because we take it. We just sit and just we freeze up and we just allow
like take it. No, sorry, no. Or I said to a guy, if you come on, he was like flirting with me. He was so overtly sexual. I said, I will go to lunch with you if you do anything and say anything to me that I find vulgar or inappropriate. I'm not going to say one word to you. This is what's going to happen. I'm going to stand up and I'm going to walk out.
Yes.
No words are needed.
Yes. And
so
just use myself.
If you want to be fun and playful, but you're borderline already, like, so it's almost like, yeah, you're trying to see where the boundary is.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and then in the end, I just blew him off anyway. But I told him that, and he started to change and shift how he was speaking to me, right? And I was just like, I don't need this. Like, I can pick up a 30-year-old any day, like not a 50-year-old. Hello. Like, the only thing this is, a woman can pick up, they'll come for you, right? If they think you're available and whatever, we could both pick up 25-year-olds tomorrow. Like, it's not a problem. But instead, I'm like, okay, right? So if you're looking at actually offering me something, you want to be taken seriously by me, I'm looking at how you treat me. And if you're overtly sexual and sort of whatever, and I'm just not. Why wouldn't we just go for a 30-year-old or 25-year-old stallion who can get it up on his own without Viagra? Why do we need to go to a 50-year-old? I'm like, what world do you think we're living in? Like, hello. So I actually was on Bumble and I saw this hot 30-year-old and I'm like, So I hit him up and then he's in Australia and he happened to be French. I'm like, this is good. My radar. I'm like, yeah. No. So I digress. So the thing is, I'm not teaching my daughter, go for a man that can make his
Right.
own
Yes.
his own authority, his own integrity, his own intrinsic motivation,
Mm-hmm.
and also then have your own financial means.
Yes.
Have both.
Yes. Yes.
Because what happened for me is I married someone who, bless his soul, great person overall-ish, but
Mhm.
really had no drive, no
Yes.
integrity,
Mm,
lots of insecurity. And
mm,
then I had to overcompensate by working like a slave and a dog
mm.
to carry the entire family. And
Oh
I
my
don't
God.
want that for my daughter.
Neither
I
do
want her
I.
to be able to make her own money. I told her that, educate herself, have a skill, and be with someone that can really significantly add value as
Yes.
like emotionally, financially. So they're both autonomous. And if she does want to take off time with children and child rearing, those gender roles can switch, but
Mm-hmm.
that they both are there and it's very equalized. And she's learning that, hey, I can leave.
Mm-hmm.
If mummy and daddy tried, mummy is not happy in this, and my
Mm-hmm.
mummy left, and that gives me permission that if
Yes.
it's not right for me, that I can make that conscious choice
Yes,
to go.
absolutely. Absolutely. Now there's one thing that we talked about, touched on earlier, but I think it's important for women to realize that
Mm.
if you're in a situation and you realize you need to step up and you've got to take on ownership of all of it. Um, you could find yourself in situations where you're dealing with the hard stuff that gets in the way, because a lot of
Yes.
times we'll try to do a business and we're still wounded, like myself right now. We're still
Mm.
wounded. We're still healing from the pain of the past or from whatever.
Oh, I've got something to offer there. Can I just tell you something? Because
Yeah.
like it can take look, you can have miraculous healing. Like I'll ask, you can ask a question. I said miraculous healing for sure, but chances are, like I've got wounding from my childhood, to be honest with you,
Mm-hmm.
that I don't know if I'll ever completely get over.
Mm.
It was so traumatic for me. And I don't want to be a victim about it, but on my soul and my body, if I talk about it even now, I could cry. Like it was
Mm-hmm.
so, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, what I
Right.
went through. Because I was really terrorized, right? Now, I may have that within me as a soft, gentle wound, like in my vulnerable self, if I'm my authentic, if I'm really honest about it.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it never happened.
Right.
It really affected me deeply. And in saying that, I think that a mistake that some of us make, and I think it's something that you're talking to now, Queenie, is to separate and isolate yourself from that when it comes to your money and your work.
Mm.
So it's like, okay, I have wounds and I own that. I'm a human being having a human experience. And until the day we pass over into whether you believe heaven or whatever it is, or we go into a new dimension or become energy or light, we will be working on our stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I had given myself permission to serve and make money, even with my vulnerabilities or my woundedness. It's something that is just part of the human condition. So can I help another human being? Can I contribute with X, Y, and Z? Yes, I can. All that stuff will be there for you to pick up later. But it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that I'm not, like I remember years ago, one of my clients said, oh, I'm a healer and I want to, work with women that are more wealthy, but I'm not wealthy. And I said, well, we're not coming to you for your wealth. We're coming to you for your healing power. I don't
Mm.
give a shit what's in your bank account. My healers that work with me and the people that work with me live a very different lifestyle to me.
Mm.
They drive very basic cars, sometimes really bomby cars. They don't care. Some of
Mm-hmm.
them, they own their own homes. They're like in their 60s. They've paid off all their mortgage, but they have a very, very different life. They have abundance on their own terms so that they don't judge me of mine. Like if I want to wear, today I've got, you can't see this, I've got a little Gucci, it's like very basic, but this is a Gucci top. This is my choice. I want to wear, I like to wear it. I don't need that to make me feel rich. I can go to H&M, I can go to Zara. I love those shops as
Right.
well. But they don't judge me. But I'm looking at what can they provide. Like if I come to hire you, Queenie, to help me with my tech or whatever, or help me with anything, because you've got so many different skill sets. I'm coming to you, Queenie, not because of what I know that you might have these wounds, but we do, so do I. But it doesn't mean
Mm.
that I can't help you and you can't help me.
Right.
So I
Right.
think like it's almost like not shaming ourselves and feeling like there's something. I think that's a belief system that I used to have when I fix this, when I
Mm.
become completely healed. When I
Right.
heal my family baggage stuff, I used to be one of those
Mhm.
people that used to like fix all the, like, if my relationship with my sister's good, if my relationship with my mother's good, if my relationship with my father's good, but you know what kept happening? That was always a mess. And I
Right.
was looking like, oh, you know, like
Right.
it was always a bit of a mess, right?
Right.
And I
Right.
was like, oh my God, I'm not putting any attention
Mhm.
into my business because I have a belief that I can do that once those relationships are harmonious. Well, they still not, like, my dad's passed now. My sister doesn't speak to me, and my mum and I have a very interesting relationship. It's good some days and terrible the next. And
Mhm.
no, not really, but now it's actually pretty good. But 10 years ago, I thought, oh, 12 years ago, I'm putting so much energy in trying to make everything okay for
Yeah.
everybody else
Mm.
that I just need to choose to put 80%. I actually remember saying to friends and family, I love you, I'm here for you. But if you notice that my energy is pulled back, it's not because I don't love you and that I'm not here for you. If you need me at all, you can call me, but I'm going to be really focusing on building my business. And
Mm.
I put all of my energy pretty much into building that business for myself and for my family and for for my daughter. And I started to not be a fixer
Mm. Mhm.
more for everybody else, because every soul. So if you have someone suffering and someone's, even clients, like, it's their soul decision. So
Mhm.
today I was in a class and like one of the girls, I said, I will not look at your offer. I have given so much copy and content and downloads of messaging, positioning, alliteration with copy. It's not in a document. I said, I refuse to look at anything anymore until you have it, darling, in a document, because you need to embody that energy to learn how to birth it. And then I will look at it and give you, full on feedback. But you
Mhm.
need to get into that position of birthing and putting it in to an offer, because once you do that, when you go to create another offer and another offer, you won't need Ingrid.
Mhm.
I'm teaching you to be empowered, to begin to birth and write and get your ideas from an idea in your head onto the paper. And it's not just about writing copy, I'd say to them, it's a living being entity.
Mm.
When you start to create an idea and put it down on paper, it literally takes on, like, everything is energy. If you
Mm.
believe in this, okay, the quantum realm of energy, it's
Mhm.
like collates. It's not just this, well, should I do this? Or maybe this is an idea. So the way I also explain it to clients is, imagine, or to students, imagine someone has $5,000 cash in their hand.
Mhm.
And like, today, I really, really want to treat myself. I've always wanted a Louis Vuitton bag, or maybe you like Chanel bag. I want Chanel.
Mhm.
You walk into the Chanel store, you've got your 5,000 and the shop is empty. There's no bags to buy.
Mm.
There's not going to be a conversion. There's no sale made.
Right.
And that's what happens to most people. Oh, why am I not making money? You don't have a fucking offer. You have nothing to sell. You come to me and you say, Ingrid, I've got a $150 offer. That's all I've got to sell. That's not going to take me very far.
Mhm.
You turn around to me and say, Ingrid, I say the lowest price point to work with me is $5,000. I'm going to make a conversion. If I position it right, if the person understands the value of what I'm offering, I'm going to $5,000 sale. If you don't have the offer there, you got nothing to sell.
Right.
So what are the products that you have in your product suite? Now you could have one at 1,000, or you call it the value load. You have a $300 one, $1,000, a 3,000, a 5,000, all the way up. You could have a whole product suite. So there's always an opportunity for someone to buy from you. So when they hit you up and if they just want to do a get started, get to know you, it could be a $300 offer. And that's like a digital product. Later on, you go all the way up. But you want to be able to have a tangible, it sounds really basic, but I didn't have it before. So this handbag, the designer, they made, beautiful
That's
low
beautiful.
handbag. Beautiful,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Gorgeous.
Mhm.
You got to have a handbag to sell. So
Right.
what are you going to sell?
Yeah.
So you want to sit down and think about, remember, problem to solution. What am I most passionate about? What are my skills? What suffering have I gone through that I really want to ensure that another woman or another person or another child, depending on your niche, so say you're working with women, what is something that I've gone through that I've really transformed in my life? You may be still working on it in a deeper level, but
Mhm.
say that I really want to pay it forward and pass it on and contribute to the world. And that's the area that you should start with. Choose, you can always do. And when people go, oh, I've got this idea and this idea and this idea and this idea, I'm like, no, that's that scattered energy.
Mm.
Get grounded, visualize, pray about it, think about it. What is my calling? What do I feel most passionate about teaching? And then that's the beginning. You start to write it, start to create it, because you will get more grounded, you will get more confident, and it will begin to become something that's a tangible, beautiful product that you can sell to people and deeply support people. And then the price point has to be right so that you are rewarded, so that you are compensated, which you absolutely deserve.
Absolutely. You touched on the meditation part of it, and that's one of the things, the visualization that you would lead us through during the course. That it was different than anything I'd ever experienced. They were quick, but they were like injections of I don't know what, but it was good stuff. It's like it shifts your whole brain real quick.
Well, I think for me, when I went through such trauma with my family and whatnot, that's why I really don't like mindset. It's more like an energetic upgrade,
Mm,
because um, the mind, oh, it's so mental. It's like it's a mental thing, and it's like just putting an idea or an affirmation. It's sort of deeper. It's like visualizing. Really, at the end of the day, when we come to the law of energy and manifestation, and I'm sure you guys all know this, but I want to say it to you just so that we get it on a deeper level. I'm sure you know this on some level, but everything external has to start with an internal reality, an internal shift. So I need to become the embodiment of that. Now, if I begin to energetically attune to, one of the fastest ways to do this too is to begin to focus on the future of your desire. So where do you want to be in the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? Where do you want? Are you living in California? Are you moving to the beach, Queenie, for example? Where are your kids at the best universities? Have they got their own businesses? Where are you? Who are the clients you're working with? We're already manifesting maybe a retreat that we're going to do together. We want to feel into that, feel into the experience for those women, feel into what we're doing. How does it feel? So the feeling that you have will lead you into the future. So one of the ways I energetically help myself with this, so it's not just beliefs, it's to think about, okay, where do I want to be? How does it feel? And then every single day I tune into that feeling. So if it's abundant and rich and juicy and nourishing, I've got an incredible new partner. He treats me like this. He's a protector. He's in his divine masculine. Our intimacy is like this. We had the most divine ecstatic chemistry. He's so loving. He's so attentive. He pours me baths every other day. He's really great at cooking. He makes me food. He is really great, emotionally with me. Like if I ever have to vent, he just holds space for me. He's there for me.
I like
He
him
doesn't
already.
react. So yeah,
I
it
like him.
sounds great. And now, it's like, I love it when you vent. He's like, well, tell me more. What more do you have to give me? I was sort of really angry yesterday with my divorce, and this guy was really great. He's like, I don't even find this anger, Ingrid. I love it. Bring it on. You can take it out of me. And he made a bit of a joke. You can take it out of me.
He likes
I'm
it.
like, yeah, I'm like, well, I'll take it out on you for just a bit, but I really don't want to be in my anger. So I'd like to release that, and then you can take it out on me because I like a dominant man. But like, hello, like I need a dominant man. And
Right.
I'm like, okay, I want some big dick energy in my life, because
Right.
I went without that for 15 years. So I'm like,
Oh
bring it
my
on.
God.
Yeah, I tell them I'm like big D energy, but I sort of show them who I am, because I'm like, if they regress or run away, they can't
Right.
handle it, you
Right.
know?
Trust and believe.
So
Right.
but if you focus on the future, so first of all, what is it that you want? If
Hmm.
you can't answer that, get clear, because that means that your energy and what you're communicating to is like very wishy-washy. That means you're going to get they're going to get good shit, you're going to get crappy shit, because you're
Hmm.
not clear.
Hmm.
I am laser lucid clear about what I want. And every single day I'm like deepening that. What do I really want? How do I really want, say I'm manifesting that man? How do I really want him to be? What are my non-negotiables? And in business, the same thing, personally and professionally. How do you want it to feel? Write it down, get clear. And then every single day you want to feel into that as it's already happening. Who do you have to be? What do you need to release in order to have that? What is the
Hmm.
belief that might be coming up that's like biting you, like that's harming you, that you need to look at? And I also did this energetic download for myself too, which was like, I asked Creator, God, whatever you believe in, God, I do believe in it all. I believe in God, I believe in the creative life force and divine energy, spirit guides. I asked them all to make me conscious, to see the error of my ways, without harming. I call it putting the dagger down. Like, don't be a bitch to yourself. It's just not being like, oh God, you're getting this wrong, or it's just awareness. Oh, Ingrid, God, you're really harming yourself here. You're still believing it. You're still doing these things. What would it take for you to release that? Okay, look at yourself. And so I ask God and Creator to show me. So if I'm doing patterns that are harming myself, things that I need to do and take responsibility for, because only I can change it,
Right.
I want to be showing that so that
Yeah.
I can really create. So now my manifestation of what I'm going to be doing down the line is I wanted a business that was I've done a lot of private work. I've done a lot of group work now, many different masterminds, many different courses. I still want to do little bits of that, but my masterminds are going to be a lot cheaper. I don't want to have sales calls again. So they're just going to be a lot lower price points so I can serve more women. My vision is to serve thousands and thousands and thousands at one time. I'm going to be launching an incredible new offering that's going to be super cheap. Everyone can afford it, basically. And I want it. My vision is, and when I'm visualizing myself, I want tens of thousands. I want to be on stages. I want to be doing this work. And I want to make it as affordable as possible for people to get the information. So surely, if I want to down the line have upsells or do private work and go to the fucking Bahamas and sell $100,000 offer, sure. But the majority of the business model, I want to be traveling the world. I want to do less, but make a massive impact. And I used to have a sales force of 10 people. I had sales managers, the sales setters. I am not interested. I've done that business model, not interested. But the one thing that I do want to also say, all you need to do if you want a six-figure business is sell two $5,000 offers a month. That's it. Two $5,000 offers. That's 10K. That's 120K a month. I mean, a year. And then if you want to do 2 a week, that's a 40K a month. 2 a week. But with the level of social media, if you get your marketing right, your positioning right, your offer is so juicy and it's a no-brainer. It's like people, it's irresistible. It's so yummy. I'd rather people be selling a $5,000 offer, not a $50,000 one, like a $5,000 or even a $3,000 offer every week. It's 12 grand a month or more.
Yeah.
Right? It's pretty good. If you sell 2 of those a week, that's 6.
Yeah.
24,000. That's about, so I don't even know what that is, but that's like 280 grand a year. Like, hello, like that's money. Like most corporate executives don't earn that kind of money, right?
Right.
And if you want to do 280 to 500 grand, I really honestly believe pretty much anyone can do.
Oh my gosh, Ingrid.
And I want to set that agenda. I want to set that for people. Go, yes, amen, sister. Yes, fucking yes. Because yes, orgasmic, yes, right? Because there are billions of people in the world. So there's literally tens of thousands of people on social media that would want your specific offer. And if you're in a closed scarcity mindset, it's just not available to you. If you're like, what is for one woman is for all. So if I can go from being a broke, burnt out woman going into the red, underselling, fear-based, anxiety about speaking up, hating sales, to a woman that sells with heart, learned how to package up, everyone can learn this. Like, I'm not a special snowflake. This is available to everybody. You need to have courage. You need to have stamina. You need to commit. And you can choose to take months and months and years to create an offer, or you can choose to do it today. Like, seriously. And I will say, get out of your own way. It's not actually about you. It's about the service that if you've got someone in suffering, a person, wouldn't you go to help them?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you reach out your hand? If you see a baby that's sitting on the ground in a dirty nappy that looks like it's malnourished, wouldn't you go to feed that baby? Pick it up? No matter what, you would run across traffic to get that baby. That's what service is about. It's actually not about you. It's about your ability to love and serve someone else. So get out of your own way. I don't care about your baggage, Queenie. I don't care about what's happening in your life. All I care about is what service you can provide. And I know how talented you are. I know that you're a potent, like really masterful, gorgeous, gorgeous, powerful woman. So that's all I care about. That's all I care about. What can you do for me? How does it work? What am I going to get out of this experience? And how much does it cost?
I love it. I love it. I love it.
We're on fire. I'm like,
Right?
every woman should be wealthy.
Yes.
Every woman should be wealthy.
I love that. I love that. And so the message then to our daughters about how to embody that comes from our example.
Absolutely, woman.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
leaving your partnership and saying, I deserve a better life is one of the biggest gifts you could have given your daughters. You know that. We've talked about it, right? Same as me deciding I will not be miserable
Yes.
to stay in something to go, oh, I was married. Like, no, if I'm miserable. Me teaching my daughter about, like, we walked into a restaurant the other day, it was her birthday, and I took her girlfriend and her out for dinner at this Italian restaurant, and there was this man sitting behind us. He said, I don't mean to be rude, but I just heard your daughter say, and she said something, Mum, when you walk into a restaurant, you need to own the room.
Oh, okay.
And he overheard her say this, and he said, oh my God, I loved what you said. And so teaching her to have, when I was really young, I was quite very, as a, 16, 18, 20-year-old, very attractive, and I had a lot of jealousy from other women.
Girl, say that.
I know, lots of like that female competition. I'm sorry, that's old age shit. It means that there's enough for everybody. We should be supporting each other.
Right.
So I would diminish myself a lot. And I thought with my daughter, I'm like, take ownership, take presence. And I decided, I used to, I put on weight. I almost disfigured myself almost to make other women like me. You know what I realized? If you have light in you, doesn't matter whether you're a size this or size that, rich or poor, someone's still going to have an issue with myself, right? Because I said to her, who's going to come and feed you when you're broken and impoverished? Who's coming to serve you? Who's paying your rent? Who's feeding you? Who's your girlfriend's coming with soup to feed you and pay your rent? I'm sorry. So not everyone disappears. Most people are they're not that they don't want to help you, but they're so stressed out by their own lives, so they're not going to be there. So I thought, I'm not doing this to myself anymore. I'm going to be full on Ingrid. I used to notice that energy, and I'd be over nice to other women. Now, if someone gives me a dirty look and they just bitches, or they up, or I'm wearing something avant-garde and a bit out there, and I can get that energy. I'm like this. I'm like,
bring it. That's right.
I'm like, bring it. And I send them love and I smile. And most women smile at me, and maybe because my energy shifted, because I'm like, I'm not available. I'm a woman's woman. If I see I've got women girlfriends who are supermodels. So literally on covers of magazines in New York, not LA, not Brisbane, where I'm from. I'm in New York City. There. And you know what? They have all the same problems that we have.
Right.
And with
people
life,
are people. They
have the same bullshit go on. I am like, amen, sister. We have to be supporting each other. Yes. But the way that I think can empower other women, and we can all do it, is by choosing that no longer to diminish ourselves for fear of rejection or retaliation from others. And it's not just men. Most men, if you have ownership of self, if you attract the good ones, they will embrace you for that. They want that. They want their woman, because they suffer when a woman isn't, or if they are so triggered by your confidence and your power, you shouldn't be with them anyway.
Right, because it's not going to get better.
Bless them, but no, I'm just not going to diminish myself. Diminishing is you create the damsel in distress energy. Diminishing. We want to be diva. I use the word diva as not a homage to Mariah Carey, bless her soul, she's cool, but it is the divine woman, owning our divinity. And if we can own that for our daughters and learn how to communicate and express boundaries and our standards without being aggressive about it, but being assertive and clear, no one taught me how to do that. If we can do that for them, I think we are going to create a new generation that is so deeply empowered and abundant, honestly. And a lot of it is I think communication as well is a really big thing that I've noticed. I never knew how to set a clear boundary, how to also in negotiation when I worked in corporate advertising. I remember one day I was working in this company and I had a percentage ownership of all the projects that I negotiated. I was pretty young. I was pretty sassy about it all, 28. And then I had a whole lot of men come in and literally force me, stand around a desk, 5 men and me, to change my contract. They kind of came in and overpowered me to change the percentage.
They wanted more of you.
And I didn't even think, how do you deal with something like that when that energy? And one of the things that is, well, I know we've been going on for a while, I've learned is you do not need to respond or do anything you don't want to do in that moment. So one of the best ways for me to have dealt with that at that time is the same thing about asking that man to leave, is to say, hey, I hear where you guys are coming from. We've already made an agreement. I'm either a no to this, or I need to go away and talk to a lawyer, or have a chat. Take 24 to 48 hours or 72 hours. I'm going to just leave right now and pick up the contract and say, guys, I'll have to get back to you in 3 days' time. I need time to think about this. You're always right.
Wait, yes.
You always have the power to say, actually,
yes,
I don't know how I feel about this yet. I need some time. I will have to get back to you.
I love
where you don't feel, and that's another thing of coercion. That's going into a whole other subject of abuse, from sexuality, from rape, it's coercion.
When
I was
manipulation.
Younger, manipulation, it's control, all of that. To go, actually, I don't feel comfortable. I'll have to get back to you. Where if you feel overwhelmed, you don't actually have to respond apart from, look, I'm going to have to get back to you. I'm going to have to leave now.
I love that.
Whether you're on a phone call, whether you're on a negotiation, whether you're in the middle. Look, I just really need some time to think about that. Can I get back to you in a week? Take a week. Don't have to rush.
Take your time, ladies.
Take your time, baby. Take your time.
I love that. I love
that. I'm being a bit naughty. Take your time with me.
I love that, though. But that's being in your power. That's because there's something powerful when women really realize that we are the ones in control. We really are. We have what they want. But if we don't know it and we don't operate from that understanding and take up that space, we become the victim. And we don't have to be. So I appreciate it.
I think it's really up to us to choose. And we really do teach people how they treat us. But if you don't have the right language and even the awareness of, I don't have to stay here. I can leave this a conversation. I can move out of this room. I can walk away from whatever environment and situation. Also teaching my daughter around boundaries around her body from a young age, like teaching her, if I touch you in a way, Ari, if I'm bathing you and and you don't like something that I do, or you have a right, this is your body. I taught her that from like 3 years of age.
Yeah.
So that I'm setting her up for the future around when she's getting more involved. And then there'll be other conversations about intimacy and her sexuality and how her body is her authority, her ownership.
Yes.
It's her choice.
That's right.
So all of the things that we're talking about with regards to packaging, positioning, pricing, value, it goes into everything from our financial sovereignty, our personal sovereignty. Financial sovereignty, my belief is that always starts with the personal. And I think the activations that you're talking about, I sort of went on a diatribe about all of that, but really it's about going deep into the soul, deep into the psyche, to almost overpower overpower the mind, because I found that when I was just all about the mind, I have a new belief, it just didn't work. So that it's all those energetic downloads that I have, it's really, because I have a lot of audios with them as well, like audio recordings, they were what I needed for myself. And so when I was talked about from salvation, suffering to salvation, I'm like, I need sort of an alchemy. I need something something I can listen to and I can seep into my psyche.
Yes.
And I would say to my students, I'm like, listen to them until you almost know it off by heart. Like it becomes, I have a product actually, I don't know if you want me to mention, but it's very cheap. It's only $7. It's called Rich Goddess Activation. It's so, that there's a lot of money meditations with that one. It's only $7. That's something if we want to mention, but
absolutely,
that's the stuff that it can really begin to attune your vibration and your energy, and then the mind will follow. But I feel sometimes like, I'm just going to think I'm rich. Like that was one of the statements I used to walk around saying when I was broke and I wanted to get, I'm rich, everything that I touch turns to riches. And that's a great statement. But you want to be doing that every day and really nourishing that and watering that.
Wow.
And there's no other choice, by the way. There's no other choice. When you make that vow that I mentioned, there's no other. I was like, I don't know whether it takes me 6 months, 1 year, 10 years, 20 years, I am going to become truly embodied in my feminine power and in my and truly wealthy woman on every single level. I don't care what it takes. This is between me and God, and I'm doing it. So please all make a, like, if you make a vow like that, you're basically already energetically shifting yourself into that is the reality. There's no other reality.
Yes.
So whenever you go off and start thinking about poverty or scarcity or your fear, if you know where you're going in that future, the future that you want, you know what you want, you go, okay, I'm thinking about that fear, but I know what I want. I'm going to start thinking about that and visualizing that and watering that level of energy. I know how it feels. It feels juicy. It feels abundant. It feels yummy. I feel held. I feel supported. I have this amount of money in my bank account. I'm living in this type of house. I'm driving this type of car. I'm going on these types of holidays. If you can feel into that you always have a place to go. So we will sometimes go into our fear-based consciousness. But if you can then go into your future consciousness and then bring in the faith is so important with your future. You've got somewhere to go, because if you have no vision, clear vision of what you want, that fear usually just steamrolls and perpetuates and grows and grows and grows.
Right.
But if you can have a vision, and I would always say, write down what is it that you want. It's literally like a vow, a call. It will come to reality if you keep watering it, if you keep focusing on it. Your focus will lead to your fortune. Your focus.
True. That's so true. That and I'm a testimony of that for sure. When I was in the depths of my pain in my marriage, I decided I wanted to be in California. I wanted to be in a house facing the mountain. I wanted a lemon tree in the backyard, and that's where I am right now.
Everything that I honestly like, and some of the things that I've been manifesting later, more like relationship stuff and things like that, literally a literal, like, almost instantaneous when I get really clear. Like literally that day something will happen.
Wow.
And that's available to everybody.
Yeah.
Look what you manifest. We can do it. We can go into that. And how do we speed it up? By really just being so clear and focusing it on it every day, and then just feeling in that you deserve. Of course you deserve it.
Yes.
Everyone is a child of God.
Yes. Made in the image of God. So if you're godlike, that means you got creative power, potent creative power.
Potent creative power. That's what we all are. We are all, and then from a more spiritual point, we all have, the God-like, we're made in the image of God, and then we are also all the universe. The universe isn't external reality outside of us. We are part of the universe.
Yeah.
So if your energy is focused on scarcity, because you're a creator, you will create scarcity. If your focus is on riches and abundance and love and harmony and juiciness and radiance and contribution and that's what you're going to create. Because I was saying to my students today, people who teach manifestation, we're all manifestors. You are already a manifester. You're not learning to be a manifester. You're learning to become a deliberate, conscious manifester.
Yes.
When I had shit show up in my life and I perpetuate that shit, I'm manifesting it.
Right.
When I chose to go for higher ground and have the yummier men and the yummy, all that, and the better clients and the more abundance and the more flow and the better staff or whatever it might be, the better friendships, I'm creating that.
Yes. And
we are all.
Why would you not?
And we're all.
Yes.
The delineation is conscious, deliberate creation and taking responsibility. Oh, fuck, I'm such a powerful manifester. My thoughts and my vibration must have been off. My boundaries were low. I was probably tired. I maybe rushed, and I let this shit in my life. I let this shit in my life. Take responsibility and go, and then course correct it.
Yes.
Course correct.
Forgive
course
yourself.
Correct in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
And forgive yourself. Don't be
a bitch to yourself.
That's
you just stay in that vibration, low vibration of shame, self-attack. It's not self-attack. It's, oh shit, I fucked up. Have a laugh about it. What is the new vibration that I need to bring in to shift this reality for myself? Yeah. So if I put up with a crappy man or a boyfriend or whatever, and then I realize, oh God, and then I take a shift and now I've got 4 dates lined up and they're all like high-level men. I'll choose which one's the best.
Yes.
Right?
I love it.
We should do a dating with Ingrid special.
We should do that. Take a camera with you. That'd be fun.
Mm.
So, Ingrid, thank you so much. I am so grateful for this conversation. You have just
I am so
enlightened me in so
grateful.
many ways, and I'm sure that our power moms are just overwhelmed and moved in the best way. In the
I
best
hope
way.
so. I am. It wasn't it full on today. I'm very sleep deprived. My daughter's had pneumonia, so I'm a little bit like I'm probably high on drugs, but I'm not. I'm high on life, trying to contribute my best. But I hope that I've been of service, definitely. And thank you for
Absolutely.
having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And you mentioned that you had a free gift that you wanted to offer to our power moms. Can you tell us about it?
Yes. What is the best free gift? I've got so many. Let me just think. Is it possible for me to, because I don't even know what I've got so many. Is it
Okay.
possible, Queenie, if we put up a little thing that you can tack on? I don't even know what the free
I think we talked
thing.
about the rich CEO money meditation.
Oh, is that the one? Yes, that's great.
Is that
But
a
I don't
good
know
one?
what the link to it. The Rich CEO Money Meditation. You have to get it for
Okay.
sure. When you come back to editing, Queenie, can you put the URL or say at
Absolutely.
the end what
Absolutely.
it is? And I'll get that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You want to get the Rich CEO Money Meditation. It is free. It is my gift to you. And Queenie is going to give you the URL to be able to download it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so very much. This has been incredibly rich. This entire journey has been powerful. I'm just grateful for this conversation. It has blessed me. I'm sure that it has blessed you, Power Moms, as well. Thank you so much, Ingrid, for taking the time to hang out with us today. We do appreciate you, your brilliance, your wisdom, your sass,
My
all of the
wooiness,
above. All of the above.
my provocativeness.
I love
Yeah.
all of it though. And you give us all permission to be our big, beautiful, bold selves. So I love that. So
Absolutely. Bring it on. Don't hide yourself. Be all that you are. Absolutely.
wonderful. Thank you again. We
Okay.
love you, appreciate you, and
I
we will
love you
talk to
too,
you all very,
darling.
very soon. Thanks for watching the Empowering Girl Mom Show. And we'll see you again tomorrow. Be blessed. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh my gosh. Was that not powerful? Was that not powerful? Okay, so women, moms, it's time for us to level up, right? That was incredibly inspiring. I love it that we get to learn how to package ourselves and offer our wisdom, offer our brilliance, and change our lives, right? Okay, so I'm super excited to have you join us for this Empowering Girl Mom show. And before you go, I want to remind you that this show is really about pouring into the hearts and minds of moms so that we can be fortified and strengthened and become more powerful in our own right. But some of us have heart wounds that are in the way. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you heal those heart wounds. I have a beautiful new program called the Mother Love Immersion, and it's a 6-week heart healing online retreat for moms. And it's designed to go under that rug we've been talking about. We talked about how when you deal with drama, trauma, pain, someone violating you in any kind of way, we tend to tuck it under the rug as moms. We just don't have time most of the time to deal with any of that stuff. And so when you do that over time, that rug begins to grow and it'll overtake your room and it'll bleed into your relationships. It'll bleed into your ability to make money. It'll bleed into your parenting. All of your relationships are impacted by the heart wounds that you carry. And oftentimes those heart wounds that we're carrying are a reflection of the heart wounds that our mothers carried and our grandmothers carried, because that stuff gets passed down through our genes genetically and through our processing our behaviors. We watch how mom tucked things under the rugs. We watched how mom had to bite her lip or had to not speak up for herself just because of the times that they were living in. But it's a new day, moms, and we get to rise up. And so I want to invite you to go to themotherdaughterjournal.com/mom. And it is going to take you to a page where you can get on the wait list for the Mother Love Immersion. Again, it's a 6-week heart healing online retreat for moms. It is going to be transformative. It'll help you to learn the skill set to begin to process through that stuff that you've been holding in. A lot of times we go numb as moms. We just don't even feel anymore. Some of us can't even cry anymore. And if you're in that space where you've got stuff that you have been putting off dealing with, or you know it's in the way, you know when you're triggered and it comes up, or when you snap and you don't realize why, it's because you still have those wounds that need to be healed. So join me /mom. And I'll put the link in the comments so that you can join us. Get on the wait list. I'll reach out to call you so that we can talk about it, because you deserve to heal so that we can break past it and finally tap into all the good that Ingrid was just talking about. The only thing that'll get in the way is us. And the thing that gets in the way is our woundedness, our inability to finally process through the pain and finally feel the stuff we have been avoiding to feel, but doing it in an environment of love where we can do it together. All right. So thank you so much for joining me. The Empowering Girl Mom show has been powerful. Make sure you join us tomorrow. We're having our grand finale. There'll be 2 more speakers today that you can watch, and then 3 tomorrow, and then our grand finale tomorrow at 1. So be sure to join us. We are celebrating. This entire journey has been so rich. If it's blessed you, put it's blessed me in the comments. All right. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, follow, do all the stuff so that more moms can find out about how we can heal and grow and thrive together. All right. God bless you. I hope it blessed you. You take good care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.